Next item.
Under Education, Graduation Initiatives and Programs. The purpose of this presentation is to provide an overview of the high school alternative education programs. The initiatives and programs presented will be implemented during the 2018-19 year. This item provides an opportunity for the board's information and discussion.
Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, President Logan and Dr. Thompson and other board members. This evening's presentation is actually a follow-up to a presentation that Mr. Alvarez did earlier this fall on the graduation initiatives that were being implemented this school year. So tonight, the purpose of my sharing is to provide you just some additional information on our high school alternative programs and who they serve.
Dr. Irving, can I just interrupt? I also want to make note in the records that this is also in response to Mr. Reeser wanting to have some information brought forth, an extension for our alternative programming. And so I want to make note of that so that it's in the records.
Oh,
thank you.
So, Wichita Public Schools high school alternative programs provide non-traditional options for our students to meet their various learning styles and needs. And so these initiatives support our students, but as well as our long-term strategic plan of increasing high school graduation rates. So new this year, we have all-day learning centers located at each of our comprehensive high schools. This continuum of services is available for all of our high school students. School staff monitor course completions of all of our students. And if a student has not successfully completed a required course, then their schedule includes now time for them to attend the Learning Center to make up those critical courses that are needed for graduation. The Learning Center is also available for students that transition into Wichita Public Schools but may be lacking some of the required credits. Maybe because it's a courses that they didn't take in another district that are required for Wichita Public School graduation. And so the comprehensive learning centers provide us an opportunity to that layer of support for those students as well. Then we have Chester Lewis Academic Learning Center, and although this is one physical building, it actually is an umbrella for multiple programs. One of those programs is the Alternative High School. Many of the students that enroll at the Alternative High School like it because of its small setting, and it provides them an opportunity to really get to know their fellow peers as well as build those relationships with staff. As you may also recall, this is our Gemini 2 location for our secondary school. And so at Chester Lewis, we have a mindfulness room, which allows students to go and self-regulate, as well as for students to be able to go and learn and practice social emotional character skills. It also provides blended learning approach. And what this blended learning approach does, it allows them to do some of their coursework online, but it also provides them an opportunity to do project-based learning, which is a way for them to demonstrate their mastery of skills through the completion of various projects. The flexible scheduling includes that they have an opportunity to work on some of those projects and courses at their own pace. So that is a difference of what a comprehensive traditional classroom may look like. Transportation is available for students. They can ride the bus from their base home school to Chester Lewis, as well as if city bus passes are needed, those are available as well. It is likely that students that attend the alternative high school may have some credit deficiencies, so the online learning component allows them to make up those credits needed for graduation as well. Also under the umbrella of Chester Lewis is our virtual high school, and this is an online school. So students must have internet access at home to participate in the virtual school in order to complete those online courses. Also, computer checkout is available if needed. Students complete coursework online, but yet teachers provide online support, as well as students come in for support for lessons, and they also come into the facility when they're completing end-of-unit assessments. Students that attend the virtual high school prefer that flexible school day because they can actually complete their coursework at any time. It can be done if they have other responsibilities during the day, such as a job. They can actually complete their coursework in the evening or other times that are convenient for them. Also new this year is our Wichita Public Schools Learning Center located at Town East. And at Town East, we have two specific programs. One of them is titled the Flex Program. Placement in the Flex Program requires referral from a school staff. It is specifically for high school seniors that have few credits to complete. Students utilize the online curriculum that can be worked on off-site, but these students are also required to come into the center as well. The Flex Program students graduate as Chester Lewis graduates. Also located at Town East is another learning center, much like the learning centers at our comprehensive high schools. This program, though, is designed specifically for juniors and seniors that desire that non-traditional setting. They've first have utilized the learning center at their comprehensive high school, but may recognize that the learning center setting is best to meet their individual needs and their learning style in order for them to complete their high school credits. So students use an online curriculum, as well as they have teacher direct instruction to complete their courses, and this includes not only credit recovery, but original credits. Students also that graduate from the Learning Center at Town East will graduate as Chester Lewis graduates. So you also should have received this evening an alternative placement guide. Looks like this. And this handy-dandy little guide there is used by our school staff based upon the grade level of students, the number of credits needed for graduation, and the type of environmental need for each student. This guide is used to help students identify the most appropriate placement for them in order if they are seeking an alternative option in order to complete their high school credits. So I provided you just a little bit of a snapshot of the alternative programs at our high schools that students can utilize as an alternative option in completing their high school graduate credits, as well as who those programs serve. Are there any comments or questions about any of the programs or the information
Yes, we do
shared?
have some. Ron?
Thank you. I was just wanting to find out about the software. Is it all the same throughout all the levels, or and if so, then what is that software exactly?
The online curriculum is Edgenuity. It's something that was approved by the board this past winter with implementation that started this fall. What is great about Edgenuity is that not only does it offer just a range of courses, everything from core content courses to some elective courses, as well as even AC prep courses. So it provides a range of courses, but it allows students to be able to be engaged. Not only does it provide an opportunity, or let me backtrack, not only do our physical staff have an opportunity to provide direct instruction, Edgenuity actually has online tutorials that are real people talking to our students. So even our students that are doing virtual online learning can interact with the Edgenuity teacher, as well as be able to receive support from our teachers.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Irving.
Stan?
So I just wanted to kind of get a quick recap. So basically, we have 5 options now, one being in-house catch-up time, the second one being alternative high school through Chester I. Lewis, third one virtual high school, which is also through Lewis, and then we have the 2 programs at Town East, Flex and
another,
Okay.
another learning center.
Do you feel is there any gap we're missing? Is there anything in the future that we need to, as a board, think about, you know, so that no one falls through the cracks?
Well, one of the things that is occurring is at each of these programs, whether we're talking about the comprehensive schools or whether we're talking about the learning centers or any of the other programs located under Chester Lewis, staff are conducting ongoing transcript review and counseling with students. And so as we continue to do that, we are problem solving and identifying the resources that we have available to be able to support, but we also will continue to look at what are other needs that we may have and share those with you.
I also like to add, that there's a component there where if there's a student that would like to be removed from school or to drop out, they cannot do that without exiting and visiting with a student, with a counselor group or principal or administration and the student. So there will not just be where you just disappear. You have to exit out, and there's steps that goes along with that to ensure that we've exhausted everything that we have to ensure that our kids stay in and that they complete.
And if a student and family determines that they're going to exit, there's still that layer of going to the Chester I. Lewis Academy and meeting with staff there to talk about all the options that we do have available.
And if you think about this, I think it's, you know, we hold on a lot to the metro system, but you still had to, a lot of that in those cases, it was still a traditional, leave your house, go to the metro, sit in classes, ride the bus home, or come home to your house. So it was still kind of a traditional thing, where with these 5 alternatives, we're a lot more flexible now.
And that is our goal, not only to be flexible, but to show that there are various types of programs. And so what we want to do is connect you with the program that you feel that you can be most successful at. And so there's everything from that learning center located within the walls of a comprehensive school to being able to complete coursework at home to a blended of both of those at one of the other alternative settings.
Well, I really appreciate the effort the staff has put together on a comprehensive plan, because, you know, when I first got on the board, it felt like, you know, we were going in a lot of different directions, and I feel much better now about understanding where we're heading, and I think we are headed in the right direction. So thank you for putting this together.
Is this the first year that every single one of our high schools has had an alternative learning center?
It is the first year, not only the Learning Center at all the high schools, there was something available at high schools, but this is the first year that we have the Learning Center open during the school day for all of our comprehensive high schools.
Yeah.
And so even though we have it open during the day, they are still open beyond just the regular school day. And so this is the first time we've had those hours available for our students and the opportunity for them to be able to attend the Learning Center as a part of their schedule. So we are connecting them with that within their master schedule that our students, you know.
So we're actually now able to keep kids in school, attending classes, but give them the opportunity to play catch-up at the alternative center. Is that correct?
That is correct, while still completing the other courses that they are enrolled in.
And how is our attendance? I mean, I know we're 9 weeks in now.
It is quite the popular place.
Well, I think we've had this need for a long time. And just as Stan said, we've had alternative schools for a long time, but now we have flexibility within those alternative programs. And as I've been out in the buildings looking at some of these, I'm seeing students like what we're doing. Is that the feel that you're getting?
It is exactly the feel. And thank you for approving Edgenuity, our online curriculum. It's very engaging, it is very interactive, and because there is such a large range of courses that we can now provide for the online curriculum has all been positive.
And Edgenuity is really giving us another option because they're using it at the Wichita Children's Home where the students come back to us. They're using it at JDF where the students come back to us.
Yes.
So it's not like we're doing something different. We're kind of singing the same song out of the same hymnal wherever
Exactly.
students happen to land. So
Yes.
that's a real plus for us. Thank you very much for this report. I'm proud of what you all have done, because I think it's headed us in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ben, still have a couple more questions here.
Yeah, so on virtual high school, it says home internet required. Do we verify that, or do we just assume that whatever answer the student or parent gives us is correct?
I'm sure there are some checks and balances. I would have to check to find out exactly what that process looks like. But it is a requirement, so it wouldn't take long to figure out if someone does not have access, because they would not be able to complete the coursework. But I would have to check back with you or get back with you to let you know exactly what the verification process looks like.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Cox Communication as well, because they actually are partnering with us to offer those services for, I think it's like $9.95 a month, I believe, or for WPS students. So we also offer that service as well for students and their families. And anybody out there who's even not using the virtual, if you qualify for that that particular rate, it's $9.95. You just contact Cox.
Thank you.
Julie?
Yeah, are you, is it being possible to track somehow the data related to these programs to see when our graduation rate goes up? You know, how effective these programs were in impacting our graduation rates?
Yes, but I would say we don't even have to wait until graduation. We're able to track the completion of individual courses as students are working on them real time. And so as we see students who need to either make up a class, or students at one of the alternative programs that are participating in it to complete an original course, we're able to track their progress on that particular coursework. So even if graduation is 2 or 3 years away, we're able to monitor and track students' completion of individual courses.
So based on your data, are you already finding this program to be successful, even though it's just newly hatched here?
It's just started in August, and I can tell you that we have students working very hard and completing courses and making up courses much sooner than what we were able to offer in the past. Because again, at the comprehensive high schools, students beginning in 9th grade or 10th grade and 11th grade. So we don't have to wait until they are juniors and seniors to figure out how we're going to get them caught up. We have an opportunity now to intervene much earlier and have the resources in the center available for that to happen.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Ron?
I just want to say one last thing, kind of going back to what Ben was talking about. I went to Chester Lewis to see this during the in-service, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry. I think, if I'm not mistaken, when I went to go see this at Chester Lewis, the students, it's self-monitored up to a certain extent. And then if they're at home, there's only so far they could go. I'm not sure, but that's what I was asking when I went to Chester Lewis to see it. And so there's certain tests, I think certain modules that they cannot get into because it's locked by the facilitator, the teacher, and which is real good because, you know, it maintains the integrity of the system and helps keep the students in check. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I saw.
And to piggyback on that, because what's happening is students are working on, just think about it being daily coursework, daily assignments. And so the instructor, the teachers are able to monitor that. So when a student gets to the point that they've completed a number of assignments, activities, then it's time for them to take a unit assessment to determine if they've passed that portion. And students are required to meet with our instructors, our teachers at Chester I. Lewis in order to be able to do that piece.
Okay. I don't see any more speakers.
Okay.
Thank you very,
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Next item?